My sobriety date is St. Patrick's Day 2012. My home group is the Daily Direction meeting in Orangeville. I do the online, since COVID there was an online portion and I did that. I actually love it. It works better for my schedule with a young family. So I log in every morning at 7 o'clock. If you want information, if you want to log in, great meeting. They read the daily reflection and yap about it. So if you want information on that, hit me up afterwards. I am sponsoring people. If anyone needs a sponsor or needs a big book or wants to go through the book or wants to just talk about it, I'm available. I got a big book and I got some time on my hands. My sponsor's name is Dr. Stephen Grinstead. My grand sponsor's name is Dr. Terrence Gorski, and I didn't know when I asked this guy to be my sponsor that he would did this relapse prevention seminars all around the country. But God does for me what I don't know what I can do for myself. So he put that guy in my life, and I think that's a large part of how I stayed sober was the information that he had. Plus, he was a marriage and family therapist, and I was in a rocky relationship. I was married for 20 years, and we weren't good for each other, but we're like best friends now, like super. Oh my gosh, she's amazing, and I love her. It's like I got my friend back by getting divorced. So yeah, that all kind of worked out. But I needed more help than just AA had to offer. In fact, funny story is Steve, my sponsor, before he took me through the 12 steps in this book, he took me through a 6-step anger management program because I was pissed when I got into Alcoholics Anonymous. I was like I had a hair trigger, I was locked in the pissed off position, and that's where I kind of, it didn't take much to go from like you saying something to me thinking, just all kinds of things, man. So he took me through that so I can kind of function as a human. I started drinking really early, so I think I stunted a lot of my emotional growth. I started drinking at 12 or 13. I found some booze. My dad, my mom and dad drank. They're alcoholics, 2 brothers, alcoholics. Huge Mexican family, alcoholics, it's like, it's what we knew is what we did. We had a bunch of fun, man, and, it's what you do. So I remember at 13, I had alcohol. I tried alcohol for the first time, and dude, I loved it. I was like, yes, no wonder they're trying to keep us out of here. Like, you go by the bar and you're a little kid and it's like 21 only, do not enter. And it's like, that's why. Because this is awesome. Like, I loved alcohol. I was a little freeze-dried alcoholic. I wasn't one of these people that got to drink themselves into alcoholism. I had it. And I knew it. And once I drank alcohol, I knew it was perfect for me. And I think that's part of my problem is that alcohol affected me differently in that most people after 3 drinks, they get sick or woozy and they're like, and they maybe throw up or get dizzy and they want to stop and they're feel this out of control sensation. That's not me, man. At 3 drinks, I'm thinking about some cocaine or maybe some, going to Red Hawk or, some, something. You know what I mean? Let's go to Tahoe. 3 beers, that's just activate a little something in me. So that's the way I was since I first started drinking alcohol. I didn't know what that was. And so I surrounded myself with people that drank like I did for the next 25 years. So from 12 or 13 until I was 38, I drank myself. This is what I did for fun. That's what I did. I hung around people that drank. All of my friends drank. It was like an episode of Jackass pretty much all the time. Didn't finish school, got to the 11 and a half grade, stopped, started working construction, went into the bar business. I've been a bartender for 30 years now. Easy money, all the things that I like right at my fingertips. So I'm gonna fast forward to the day I got fired from Chili's. So I got in some trouble at work. And I realized that, so I'm 25 years of drinking and my wife hates me and I don't like her. We're raising 2 kids, they're 8 and 11. And I'm doing my best, I'm bartending, so I'm making money, I'm paying bills, everything's pretty good. I got a lot of extracurricular things going on. I'm selling Norcos, I'm selling weed, I'm selling coke. I'm running a gambling book. taking bets, I'm running football pools. I'm doing all the things that a good bartender is supposed to do. And I have a lot of friends, and there's tons, the people have a lot of regulars. And, you should have said Marcus's instead of Chili's on the thing, because I acted like it was my place, you know what I mean? Like, I had a lot of fun. The managers were in on it, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever. It's a party, basically. But I remember it was weird because there were some nights that I would go out with my friends and we go to the little sushi joint right down the street, and that was the night where I had won this dice game, and I just got picked up an extra $200, $300. Had this really cute girl that was kind of into me, and just got paid, had my tips for the week, and I leave the fire pit, go inside to get a drink, right? And I order a drink from the bartender, and there's probably 20 people that I'm with outside by the fire pits. And I remember ordering my drink thinking, fuck, I wish I could just not be here. I'd rather be at home drinking by myself. That would be way better than this, And so on my best day, I felt lonely, and I had my wife and kids at the house waiting for me, and I'm out drinking. So, I have options. I have a lot of people that like me and love me, but I feel alone. And something was up, man. And I had started thinking about not drinking for quite a while. It probably took about 3 years for me to get into an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, but I've thought about it a lot at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning with my head in my hands, just thinking, fuck, dude, I'm so sick of this. I need to quit. God. So tired of this life. I wish I could wake up and do something different. Okay, today when I get off work, I'm going to go home. I'm going to make some spaghetti. I'm going to get some Pepsis. We're going to watch, I'm going to get a Red Box, and we're going to watch, Toy Story 3 or 4 or whatever, and I'm going to be a good dad. Fuck, man, I don't make it home. I go to Johnny Carino's and I order a drink, and then that turns into a few more and a few more and a few more, and some friends come over, and I get home at 9 o'clock. Kids are tired, going to bed. No spaghetti. Have a bowl of cereal, go to sleep. So on my own, I wanted to be a good dad. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be at home. I was kind of sick of that life. I just didn't know how to not. I couldn't make it home. It was weird. I tell myself to I've won, and that never really happened. So some bad things happened. I tried to quit, and I remember the day I got fired from Chili's. So I had been sober. I had a little sober binge for 3 weeks. I was at a party at my buddy's house, and my cocaine dealer went to Tahoe, and I didn't pick up before he went. So I'm drinking vodka and drinking alcohol and doing all this stuff like I normally do, but I don't have the cocaine to kind of balance me out, slow me down, because I know the perfect recipe to keep me high. Just like in Alcoholics Anonymous, I know the perfect recipe to kind of keep me sane. I have a certain amount of meetings I go to. I have a certain amount of interactions I have with. I have a certain amount of prayers. I have a recipe for spiritual success, just like I had a recipe for my alcoholism, for what kind of kept all the demons at bay. You know what I mean? I knew how much coke I needed. I knew how much alcohol I wanted. I knew how much beer I could drink. I knew how much weed I could smoke. I knew what time I had to leave. I knew how much money I had. I could stand in front of the liquor store, the glass of the beer case, and I could do that alcoholic trigonometry. I could be like, okay, let me see. I got $8. I can get 3-4 locos and 1 bottle. I could figure it out how much alcohol I could get to get home so that I had enough, right? So that night, my dealer leaves, and drugs are in the big book quite a bit. If anybody has a problem with that, let's talk afterwards. We can get in the book. But that night I fell out of a hot tub naked in front of a bunch of people, smashed my head, and then was embarrassed, so I jumped in the pool and kind of swam across the other side to try to hide from all my buddies. And there's 30 people there. Oh, bro, it was so bad. It was the worst. People have blackouts, and they're lucky. I have brownouts. I wake up and I remember vaguely kind of what I did. And I woke up on that leather couch at my buddy's house, and I was just like, oh no, please tell me that was a dream. And then I'm covered with a blanket, but I don't have any clothes on still, and I'm still kind of wet. fuck, that wasn't fake. I'm like, dude, oh no. So I wanted to shrink into it, like become an ant and just crawl away and never see those people again for a while. You know, my buddy Bob comes downstairs, he's like, dude, what happened to you last night? Like, what was that? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I need to take a break for a little bit. He's like, yeah, whatever, man. He's like, we love you. You know, just take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and so I walked over to my mom's house, and my mom had been sober in Alcoholics Anonymous for 25 years. And told her what happened. I said, Mom, I need to stop drinking. Like, man, this is getting out of hand. Like, I feel like a freight train has just gone out of control, and I don't know how to stop. Like, I feel like something bad's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I should keep pushing. I don't know how to stop this thing. And I guess I had a big cut on my face. You know, I hit something on the way down, and when I fell out of the hot tub. And so my mom's stitching me up, and I'm drinking my little flask of vodka. And she gives me a couple stitches, and she starts talking to me about Alcoholics Anonymous. She's like, oh, you know, Mom, you can always go back to meetings, you know, because trying to quit on your own is you know, it's hard, and you need God. And I'm like, fuck, shut up. Like, I'm not going to that stupid. I already did that. I did when I was 15. I went to rehab. It didn't work. You know what I mean? I prayed when cops were behind me. I still got DUI. You know what I mean? Prayer doesn't work. God doesn't work. I've already tried all that stuff. It's like, just don't give me that shit. I'm not going to your stupid meetings and like, keep coming back. It works. I'm like, fucking, you're a hokey horse shit, bro. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's not me. You know what I mean? I said, I can quit on my own. I'm strong enough to do this on my own. I don't need your stupid little friends. You know, and thing is I absolutely 100% believe that I could do it on my own. I really, really, really did. I can do a lot of things on my own. I have a lot of willpower. I have a lot of mental strength. But I am not stronger than my own alcoholism. I didn't know that. I had no idea what I was battling. You know what I mean? I didn't know what fight I was in. So I believed what I was saying. So that was bringing me to this 3 weeks, right? So I go back to work. I tell my friends, bro, I'm so embarrassed. I'm not drinking anymore. I'm done. Every day after work, instead of going to, Johnny Carino's and drinking beer, I was drinking O'Doul's. Instead of drinking vodka, I was taking Norcos because those don't really affect me. They make me feel like kind of wiry, you know, like they're just not, I don't even know why people take those stupid things. They don't really work on me, but I was taking them. So to me, I was sober. I'm not drinking vodka. I'm not drinking beer. I'm taking these little pills and I'm drinking a little bit of O'Doul's, and it turns out after I talked to my sponsor, he's like, no, dude, that's not sober. He's like, that's a felony. He's like, you taking other people's pills that aren't prescribed to you you're breaking the law. He's like, and there is alcohol in those things at 0.05%, but you drink enough of them and you're drinking. And it's like, whatever. It wasn't still sober to me at the time. Forget around that, this stupid story. So I quit drinking. It's weird. So I did that for like 3 weeks, and things were kind of getting better. The cool thing about not drinking hard alcohol and beer and stuff like that was that things got a little bit better. I knew where my wallet was. I knew who I texted the night before. So I knew what arguments I was in with my wife. I was able to maybe make throw some pizzas in the oven. I could make spaghetti. I could put a DVD on. So things in those 3 weeks got a little bit better. And then I go to work one day and I serve this guy 2 drinks that I'm not supposed to serve. Like, they have stupid laws in California, like you can only make 1 drink at a time. But I made like a triple for this dude because he's a regular. Boss sees me. He's like, dude, you gotta go. He's like, something was going on. I think that new management was coming in, so they were getting rid of me. So they're watching me extra close. They see me slip up, and they fire me that day. Takes me to the office, and he says, Marcus, you've been doing so well these last 3 weeks. He's like, don't go drinking now. And I was like, oh. So he's telling me this as he's giving me all my tips in my locker for the week and my paycheck. He cashes it out, gives me all his pile of money, and he's like, yeah, just don't go drinking now. And I said, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So I go across the street to Johnny Carino's. call a couple friends. Hey, I just got fired. I'm at Johnny Carino's. What are you guys doing? And the bartender knows that I'm not drinking. We are very good friends. And she's like, she knows that I've been drinking O'Doul's the last 3 weeks. And I was like, you know what? Let me have one of them happy hour Coors Lights, the big one, the $3 one. She says, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. You know, I'm like, in my mind, as soon as that dude said don't drink, I started thinking, well, maybe I could just have one. Mm-hmm. I've been drinking, 7 or 8 O'Doul's, 0.05%. Let me see. I don't know, the fucking math is on that. I guess it's like maybe a beer, I guess. I don't know, maybe I can have, so I've been drinking that. I have one Coors Light. Those are 3.5%. If I want to drink it slow, then I go home, it shouldn't be bad. I'll just stop drinking tomorrow. Made sense to me. So I go over there, I order the drink, I sit at the bar, and I felt like I shouldn't do this. I really did. I ordered the beer, and it's sitting right in front of me. And, it's sitting there, and it's like icy cold and shit. It's like, looking at it. But I looked at that beer for so long because I felt like I shouldn't do it. I'm like, dude, that's not a good idea. I have been doing good. Maybe I shouldn't do that. And, I didn't know about alcoholism, the things I know now, reading the big book, being inside this big book and knowing the threefold illness. I have a allergy of the body. I have a spiritual malady. And I have a brain that tells me that this is okay. My brain is telling me it's okay to drink. Look, you can quit tomorrow. Look, bro, you just got fired. I have an obsession of the mind that's telling me this stuff, which these are fucking lies. Because once I took that drink, I was like, I don't like that. I'm like, I don't want that. Bartender, give me my drink, please. And she knew what that was. It's a pint glass full of vodka, 2 limes, 2 black straws, and a little bit of soda water on top. I put it in my mouth. I drink it down as fast as I can. It takes about 3.5 seconds. I hand it back to her because of these laws. You can't serve 2 drinks at once. So I hand it back to her. She fills it back up, and then she can go about her business, being the to-go person and the bartender and making the drink tickets for the restaurant and all that other shit that she has to do. I'm like, as long as I got it in me and I have one in front of me, now I feel all right. Now everything's okay. Alcohol is coursing through my body, into my veins. I get this sweet sense of comfort and ease that everything is going to be okay. And if it's not going to be okay, I'm just like, fuck it. It's going to be okay anyway. Alcohol works perfectly on an alcoholic. It treats alcoholism perfectly. And that's what it was doing to me. I know that now. I didn't know that then. The phenomenon of craving. Once that alcohol went in, I reached for another one. My brain told me to have one, but alcoholism's like, no, I'm not done with you yet. One was the kicker. One was the, let's just got it started. And I drank until I felt like I was good, right? And then I went home, ate some pizza, and passed out, right? So, and then I thought, here's this weird thing. I actually thought I could stop the next day. I didn't. I just went out and got real beer and put it where the O'Doul's kind of is. So my wife thought I was drinking beer or O'Doul's, but I was drinking actual beer. That lasted about 2.5 days, and then the gig was up. Everyone knew I was drinking again. And that's how that went for 6 months until she left. The lights were turned off, the power was turned off, the PG&E was turned off, cable was not working. My wife and the kids moved out, went to live with my mom down the street, about 2-minute drive down the street. They didn't want to live with me in a 4-bedroom house. All of my contacts and resources that I had, all but one, stopped coming around. So I was drinking, I was alone. I spent a lot of time in this garage, this nasty little garage. There was dirty mail, there was cigarette butts, there was extension cords everywhere. I was living in filth in my own house, my garage basically. like I said, I'm kind of a confident person, so I have like my skin's turning yellow, and I hadn't washed my clothes in a while, so they're like wrinkly, and like I have these beige shorts that were all wrinkled, and I had my wrinkly, stinky clothes. And I remember a girl walking in front of my house, and I like started trying to talk to her and pick up on her with my nasty ass breath and my yellow eyeballs. And it was just thinking back on it now, it's like, what an idiot! Like, how gross is this guy? Like, you know what I mean? But like, while I'm in that zone, I don't think like that, man. I think I'm the shit. I always think I'm the shit. You know what I mean? And my ego has no problem. And I'll even look down on other people when I got no power and none of this stuff. I'm looking down on my neighbors. Oh, look at this guy, Brett washing his car on a Saturday. What do you think he is? You know. So I don't know. I just have I'm like not a crappy person. You know what I mean? Especially with drinking. So that's a little bit of me. And then I was so sick and tired of my life. So my sobriety day is St. Patrick's Day. I wake up, I do a big old fat line of Coke. I drink any alcohol that's kind of left. Then I pass out. I wake up again around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm like, I get all the little bottles around, any bottle that I have, and I pour it onto a shot glass. And I get about an ounce. And I got $3.87 in my pocket. And I'm like, I'm going to walk to Beach Hut because they got 2 kegs of green beer. We're supposed to drink all those today because they don't want to sell it tomorrow. And then after that, we'll go to Oshima. And that guy owes me some money, so I'll drink on his tab, and then I'll make my way home. So I'm trying to plan out my day of drinking on St. Patrick's Day, drinking holiday. And I'm thinking about this, and the more I thought about it, dude, I'm like, fuck that. Dude, I'm so sick and tired of my life. I'm so sick of this shit. My wife and kids are probably better off without me. They're not here. I can't pay the bills. They're living over there. Fuck, man. What if I was dead? What if I was just dead? Their life would be better if I was gone. And these are the thoughts that started to creep into my head on St. Patrick's Day. And they were very real. And not a very religious person or anything like that. Just pray when I'm in trouble. So I remember that night, it was raining and it was super cold. No power, so there was like a street light right out in front of my driveway. And I remember seeing kind of cars coming through the rain. And I was looking at them, wondering if it's somebody that I knew, somebody that maybe wanted to stop by, or a friend, or, I also had 4 warrants out for my arrest, so I was wondering if it was a cop. So, you know what I mean? Just kind of like living the life, Scared and lonely. I wanted people there as long as they left right away. And I remember walking outside, looking up, and I was just thinking, I don't know that I prayed. I just know that I did what it talks about in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous on page 30. And I'm going to read it so I don't ruin it. Hate when people read out of their book when they're sharing. But that's what I'm doing, huh? It says, we learned we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics, and this is the first step in recovery. That's what happened to me that night. Looking up at that street light, being that lonely, being that tired of my life, being that sick and tired of my own life, thinking that I'd be better off dead, that my kids wouldn't be better off without me. And something happened deep down inside of me where I was so tired. And I'm like, I need help, and I'm going to go to that stupid... I knew there was a meeting down the street on Sunday. It was a book study at 5. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to that meeting. I need something, Anything's better than what I got. And so I didn't... It was weird, too, because about 10 minutes later, my neighbor came over with some beer. And 10 minutes after that, my stepdad came over with some Coke. And I'm like, nope. I made a decision. I am not doing that. You guys can party up, hang out, whatever you want, but I'm not doing that. And I'm going to a meeting tomorrow. So something happened to where it's an inside job, you know what I mean? And I, drunk and high or whatever, something happened. And I just started, man, I'm going to surrender, whatever. I'm going to try something else tomorrow. And that's what I did. I went into a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous at 5 o'clock. It was a book study in Natomas, at the Natomas group on San Juan, still there. I walk in, and the secretary is a dude named Chris Canello. And I walk in, he sees me with my beige wrinkly pants and my yellow eyeballs and my newcomer swag. I'm like, I don't know about you guys, but I always think I'm cool. So I'm like, I look like shit, look like death and stank kind of bad, you know? But I come in and I'm like, oh. You know, just like trying to like not make eye contact and read the shit on the wall. Like, oh, what's this? So that's what I'm doing, right? And this guy he pulled my card right quick. He walked up and he's like, hey, what brings you in today, man? How you doing, brother? He says, did you get the nudge from the judge? And I didn't know what that was. I didn't know that people sentence you here. I'm like, no, I got the nudge from my wife. I'm like, she left with the kids, got no power, no electricity, no, got no food at the house. I'm like, the cable's not working. I'm like, God, my life's in this shit. And blah, 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 blah. And then I started crying. The strangest thing is that, because I don't know, you can tell by the looks of me, but I think I'm a tough guy, so I don't not one to like cry, especially like in a room of full people or like somebody I don't know. But what my mom says is that God touched my heart and turned the lion into a lamb. And that when Chris was asking me how I've been and what's going on, just something against, like opposite of me started to tell the truth about my situation. I missed my kids, they were gone. I think I've ruined it with my wife, and I can't support anybody. Like, I don't know what happens. Like, if I get money, it doesn't go into the bank, and then it doesn't go to the bills. Like, I don't know what's happened to myself. And I'm telling the truth about all this stuff. And this dude, Chris, man, fucking thank God for this guy. His sponsor is a guy named Rick Austin. And Frank Austin. Frank and Maggie Austin, they moved to Oklahoma. But Frank Austin in Natomas was kind of a big deal. He actually worked out of this big book, did the things in the big book just like Dr. Bob did back in the day. Like they just worked the book, worked the program. People wanted to they had people on their fourth step on their fourth day. They're like, write that stuff down, go help somebody else out, just like the old school days, right? And thank God for people that do that in this program, because that's what he had taught his sponsees, and that's who was there that day. That was the secretary, Chris Canello, was actually working the Alcoholics Anonymous program the way it's designed in this book with new people. It's not a month long, it's not a step a month. It's not don't get into a relationship within the first year. It's none of that shit you hear in Alcoholics Anonymous now. It's actually like work the steps, find a newcomer, work the steps, find another one, work the steps, find another one, work the steps. It's a numbers game. You're saving souls. You're getting people from their loss and loneliness, putting their hand in the hand of God via you so that I can get better. Like people say, oh, stay in the middle, stay within your herd. My sponsor's like, that's a bunch of horse shit. He's like, you can do that all day long and not get better. He's like, he's like, you want to be in the middle. That means sponsee, sponsor. Sponsee, God. He's like, that's the middle, dude. He's like, it's in these relationships that Alcoholics Anonymous is. This is what we do for fun, like hanging out, going to picnics and all that stuff. So he showed me right away that there was a difference between working the program and kind of being here and hanging out. He said that, he's like, Marcus, you spent a lot of time in your garage, it didn't make you a car. He said, you sat in there and drank a lot, didn't make you a car. He said, you can sit in a chicken coop, ain't going to make you a chicken. You're going to stink, but you ain't going to be a chicken. So you can sit in Alcoholics Anonymous all you want, but you ain't going to be a recovered alcoholic. You're going to be somebody that's not drinking sitting there, or someone drinking sitting there. He's like, you got to be in this thing with somebody. That's why I take a book, I offer myself, and it's like if they say yeah, great. If they don't, even better. Then I get to go do whatever I want to do. And I told you I did what you asked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what it is. So that's why I offer it up, man. It's like, I got sponsees. Some of them call, some of them don't. It's up to them. This program is like, you get out of it what you put into it. You know what I mean? As soon as I realized that, I put a lot in. I started a book study, ran a book study, got into that thing, and that's kind of like how so what really what saved my life, that and service. So anyways, that dude Chris was doing the program as it's designed. He's like, Marcus, why don't you come with me to the meeting? I'm going to a meeting at it's called, well, it's right down the street from here, Volunteers of America. It's like a place where I think people can dry out, people that are living on the streets can maybe dry out, get clean and sober. And they take a panel of people in there, like 3 speakers will speak, like they'll all speak for about 20 minutes. And he asked me if I wanted to go with him. And I'm like, oh no, bro, I got things to do, bro. I got hella stuff to do back at the house. He's like, you just told me you ain't got no power and no food and no lights. Like, where are you going? You know? And so he kind of caught me in a lie, and whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll go. You know, I guess I'll jump in the car with you. So I got in the car with him, and he says, sorry, so tell me about your life for the last 6 months. What you been doing? Tell him. And like I said, I had 4 warrants out for my arrest. So I had successfully evaded police, living my lifestyle for 7 years with these 4 warrants and bartending, like, you know. And I'm in the car with this dude, and he turns left onto Richards Boulevard from Natomas, right? And then he's going towards a place that I know very well on 7th Street. It's like where if you get out of jail, they tell you have to go there and report in case you want to do work project or like ankle monitor or like home arrest. There's all these places that they can put where the cops are at, with barbed wire and cars and all that stuff. Places I've been trying to avoid for 7 years. That's where this dude pulls down the street. He's going straight towards it. And I'm like, where are we going? And he's like, oh, the meeting's right over there, in there. I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. And then I look at this guy. So like Chris, sober 5 or 6 years. So clean cut, Irish dude with his little Irish push broom handle mustache, and he's all clean with his like nice white shoes and like clean jeans, and he's like driving this little Saturn, like, oh, telling it, I'm like, fuck, this dude's a cop. Dude's a cop. Like, it's such a fucking rat. I knew this AA shit was like bullshit. I knew it was gonna take me straight to jail right now. So I'm so paranoid. I'm like, okay, so I get my hand on the door handle, and I'm like, as soon as he pulls in and to slow down, I'm gonna roll out. And I'm gonna run up the levee, swim across the American River, and I'll be right back into Thomas, and I can go back and hide, because I didn't tell this dude where I live. And so this dude slows down, and I got my hand on the thing, man. I'm getting ready to open it, but I don't want to hurt my arm. I'm like, no, hell no. So I don't jump out. I'm too chicken. Instead, I like, okay, I'm going to see what I've gotten myself out of so many hairy, life-threatening situations. It's unbelievable. And I'm like, this is just another one. So I'm clenched, right? I'm just like, all right. Trying to like be cool, right? You put it down, right? Just calm your heart rate. Just wait and see what happens. See how you can get out. This fool pulls in, and backed into like one of the parking spots in the back parking lot was my Uncle Joe and my Aunt Glo. Now, my Uncle Joe worked for the railroad, and my Aunt Glo is a bartender, and they had been sober in Alcoholics Anonymous for, I think he was sober for 16 years, and she was sober for 20. Or no, 17, I think, 16 and 19 or something like that. And I knew, this is my aunt. Like when I tell you about the big Mexican parties at my grandma's, they were there drinking. And then they weren't. Then they started to they would show up, but they would leave early. And they wear these little medallions, this little circle and triangle. I'm like, oh yeah, we're going down to the Tahoe Talac meeting. It's like, well, okay, whatever. The party's just getting cracking. It's like 8 o'clock. They're like, so I knew that something had happened with them, with this AA cult. I'm like, yeah, whatever. They're going to do their little thing. But when I pulled in and I saw their faces, so you got to understand how paranoid I was and how afraid I was and how really scared I was. But I want to change, but I want it on my terms. And then I see my Uncle Joe and my Aunt Glo, and that sense of ease and comfort that I got from alcohol, I got from seeing my own blood family members, knowing that this was an Alcoholics Anonymous thing and that I was safe. And I felt so much better. I talked to my Uncle Joe. Chris is like, man, I don't even know if I can bring you in here. You're like, this is he's like, I'm not even supposed to be here. He's like, somebody called in and they asked me if I could fill in. And I'm just doing God's will. So I said, yes, so this is how I'm here. He's like, I don't even know if I can bring you in. I got to go in there and talk to him. You talk to your uncle. So I talked to my aunt and uncle, and then I started crying again, telling them all the stuff. And they were like, yeah, mijo, you're in the right place. And that guy, his sponsor, Frank Austin, solid. He's like, you're in really good hands. Stick with them, do what they say. And I said, all right, man. We go into that, they let me in, I go into the meeting, my aunt and uncle are the first two people to chair. My aunt's telling her story, and I know it because I was there. When she had to move out of her apartment at 3 a.m. with all the electrical things, like, you know, all the electrical sockets, like with aluminum foil over them because people were listening and her house was bugged and all that weirdo shit, fucking bends in the blind. When we had to move her out, I was there. She's telling her story. I'm like, dude, I know. I remember you fucking like rolled around on my bed for like 3 days. Like, acting all weird. And so, like I know her story. And then Uncle Joe talks. And Uncle Joe knows the book. Uncle Joe is a good man. He's another one of these book thumper people that actually knows and works this program. So when he spoke, I heard the message of hope that's in there. Because he started to describe the problem and the solution. I'm like, when he started talking, I felt like a symphony. I felt like that's exactly what I needed to hear. I'm like, first of all, how did they get all that information in this old ass book? It's like 80 years old. I'm like, whatever. But like, you know, and the thing about it is, I haven't read many books in my life. I've read this one over and over and over again because I'm selfish and self-centered, and this book is about me. And that's why I love this book, this big book, because it's you know, may as well be an autobiography. But yeah, Uncle Joe, that night, you know, so like I get in the car, in that panel, when they were all done talking, they say, are there any questions from the crowd here? You know, like there's a bunch of people in these blue pajamas, you know, kind of sitting there in different states of consciousness, you know, and I'm sitting there in the front row, and I'm like, all three of these panel people talked about a sponsor, you know, and I thought that was like Wonder Bread on a NASCAR. I thought like if I got a sponsor, they were going to give me some money and turn my lights on. But, you know, I guess a sponsor is something different than that. And so he says, any questions? I said, yeah, when are you supposed to get a sponsor and how do you get one? And he says, I'll be your temporary sponsor right now until you get sick of me. I was like, okay, cool, great, got that one done. After the meeting, he's talking to one of the sponsees there, and I'm standing there in my flip-flops, want to go home. And I got sick of him real quick because he talked way too long. You know what I mean? He didn't know how to shut up. He didn't know how to like end a conversation. Like, fuck, you need to land that plane, bro. We got to go. You know, and that's me and my sponsor day one. Well, we get in the car, the dude takes me to my house, right? And he says, Marcus, I wasn't supposed to be at that meeting. I'm just kind of doing God's will the best I can. And that's how I ended up there. You walked in, I'm doing what this book says, I'm seeing if you need a sponsor, I'm seeing if you need a meeting, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And he's like, and then your Uncle Joe was there. He's like, oh, and it turns out he lived like 12 houses down from me. And he was like, dude, you live here? He's like, Marcus, he's like, I'll tell you what. He said, I've been doing this for about 5-6 years. He's like, I have never seen God line things up the way he did tonight in your life. I've never seen that. I've never seen. He's like, you know what it must have took for God to get all these people to do their part, to work out so that you can get this message tonight, so he can tell you what's going on, try to reach in and grab you. He's like, you want to pay attention. You want to pay attention to what's going on, to what you're hearing, and realize where you're at. That there is love in this program, and you can have a whole different life. You can have 2 lives in one lifetime starting today. You start doing what's in this book. Take some suggestions. It's going to be hard, but you can do it. And I said, all right. He told me to read Doctor's Opinion and be at his house at 4. I read Doctor's Opinion. I was at his house at 4. The next day, he told me to read 2 Agnostics, be at his house at 4. I read 2 Agnostics. I was at his house at 4. On day 3, I did the 3rd step. We did the 3rd step prayer. We talked about the guy running the show. again, it sounded a lot like me. And it said that if I can give up control, and selfish and self-centeredness was the root of my problems. And then if I can lean on God and just have some faith in situations and shut my mouth, I can have a different life. I did the third step on my third day. I learned that third step prayer. I said that third step prayer every day for about 5 years. Miss a few days, but not many. Then when I got to the seventh step, he said, now you say the seventh step prayer every day. When I got to the 11th step, he said, now you do the 11th step prayer every day. When we got to the 12th step, he's like, now you do all of them every day, and you offer yourself to take someone through this like I did with you. That's it. He's like, it's that simple. If they say yes, if they call, good. If they don't, go back to another meeting, do it again. Wash, rinse, repeat. And too much time. I've got a little bit of time. So that's, that sponsor moved away, and then I got another sponsor named Steve. My sponsor now, Steve. That guy moved away at about 3 months. 3 months into my recovery, he moved down south to go live by the beach. But he helped me a lot. And there was a lot of things that I didn't like about that guy because we were like kind of really opposite. Like our lifestyles were like completely opposite. So when he moved away, I didn't have a sponsor for a couple of months. He moved away at 3 months, and I didn't do the fourth step. The weird thing about this is that I did the third step, right? And then he gives me this paperwork, and he says, this is your fourth step. Write this stuff out. And I got a little bit started, but then I stopped. I do a little bit, then I didn't. I do a little bit, then I didn't. I just kind of I'd rather go to meetings or clean the garage or, go to the pick and pull and start working on my car. I started doing all kinds of other things besides the step work. And my sponsor, Steve's like, Marcus, the only thing you do in moderation is step work, bro. It's like everything else you're full throttle on. So not doing my fourth step, but I'm doing the third step every morning. God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those that I help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. I say that prayer, and that prayer actually is an invitation to do the fourth step. It's like I needed the momentum to say that prayer, and then because the thing talks about launching out. He's like, next we launch out, vigorously into the step work, right? I think as they know that if you give that a little gap, you can relapse. If you don't get to the bottom of that stuff, if you don't get to steps 4 through 9, the stuff that's inside, if you don't get that spiritual Drano, get that hair remover and get out all that junk from your inside so that you can be a clean conduit to God. If you don't do 4 through 9 and get all that junk out, good luck having a happy sobriety. You know what I mean? Good luck with that. Drinking or misery or dry drunken is what you got in your future. Fuck that. If I'm going to be sober, it ain't going to be like that. You know what I mean? I don't like doing things twice. I'd rather do it right the first time. So that's what I tried to do. But anyway, I don't know this program. I didn't know what was going on. So I thought the third step felt so good. I wasn't drinking. I had a faith in God. I was saying my prayers. I was the greeter at my meeting. I was a secretary at another meeting. I was a coffee person at my Friday night meeting. I was in it. I was chock full of step 3, right? But what I've found, this might not be true for you, there's a shelf life on that third step prayer. It'll last for as long as it lasts. But then you need more than I needed more than that. I needed to be doing a 10-step. I needed to know what a 10-step was because I needed to know what the 4th step was. Without 4, there's no 8, no forgiveness, no 9, no amend, no change. You know what I mean? Thank God that step, where are the steps around here? Is there a step? Oh. In my home group right now, they're talking about the 8th step. And, I like that because it says we made, I can't read that shit. Thank God that doesn't say made apologies to them all, because that's what I thought that step meant. I thought that meant go around, say what I did wrong, go around and do the apology tour, really mean it, And then 6 months later, do the same shit to someone else. And then be sorry, and then go say sorry again, and really mean it. So that, I had to look up that word, and it's like, amend means change for the better. And that means for me to stop doing that stuff that I do to hurt people. Right? And if I haven't done step 8, if I haven't really came to believe within myself that I'm worthy of forgiveness, so are other people, and I need to stop doing certain things, I need to make things better, do things right, it's really hard to do step 9. So without 4, I couldn't do 8. Without 8, there was no 9. Without 9, there surely is no 12. And that's what, for me, most of the miracles ended up happening, was in sponsoring other men. Ooh, shit. It's another one I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do 4. I didn't want to do 8 and 9. And I didn't want to do 12. Because 12 meant I had to give up my time, my pleasure. I'm like, I would way rather go to the beach and do some sand art, or play with my kids, go to Chuck E. Cheese, make some nunchucks, whatever a stupid, person like me likes to do to waste their time, stare at my phone for 7 hours. Like, sponsoring other people and giving people my time, and then, driving across town, that's like $4 in gas. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just $4 there and $4 back. Like, that's $8, and that's plus like 3 hours of my time. I'm $50 an hour. This is like, however much, I'm not good at math. It's a lot of money. So in my brain, I'm like, I'm not going to help other people. I'm just going to help my family. I'm going to help my kids and my wife and the people in my circle. That worked for a little while. And then I started getting sick again. You know what I mean? Without working this program, without doing the, giving it away, and actually reaching out to newcomers and being willing, I started being in control. And then God's out, I'm in. Ego means to me edging God out, right? And if I'm not helping, the loophole that I found in this whole thing, if I had to sum it all up, is that it's on page 20. Actually, I'll read page 20 and then I'll end this whole rant of opinions. Yeah, this is all my opinion too, by the way. You don't have to believe it all. Take what you want and leave the rest. It says, our very lives as ex-problem drinkers depends on our constant thought of others and how we may help meet their needs. That is a powerful statement for an alcoholic that doesn't want to do things for someone else if I'm not getting something out of it. If it's for my kids, sure. If it's for you, something else, I'm going to kind of get something around in a roundabout way, sure. But a complete stranger across town on a fucking Saturday morning, no. You know what I mean? That's the way I think. But there's poison, because I got stagnant spiritually. I wasn't giving it away. And then what I found was that when I do the things I don't want to do, that's where my life is at. That's where the miracles and things just happen. I got this great job. I got this great parking spot. This dude's like, oh, you need a car? It's like I got all the things that I've gotten in my life in my Alcoholics Anonymous career by going out and helping others and doing things that I did or didn't want to do. But I was helping people and making the effort. I was willing to help. And I wish they would have just told me that when I walked in. You know what I mean? It would have saved me a lot of trouble. But I'm telling you, it's in the book. It's on page 20. But that's where it's at for me. It's helping other people. That's where I find magic. That's why I say yes to Alcoholics Anonymous. If people need speakers, I'll say yes. I'm always like, yep. Unless I have some other commitment, the answer is yes. Somebody needs help, if it's within my realm, the answer is yes. And I'll tell you this, I'm not an altruistic person. I'm not doing this shit because the book tells me to. I'm doing it because I kind of know what's on the other side now. That mystery where I don't know what's going to happen is exciting to me. When I don't know what's going to happen, because I'm prejudiced. I'm super prejudiced. I prejudge every situation before I go into it. I prejudge every speaker before they go up here to speak, and they open the book. I'm like, oh, fuck this dude. You know what I mean? I prejudge everything without, contempt prior to investigation. I'm ignorant, right? I realize in this program, I don't have to do that. I can just be excited like a child, say yes, ask God to help me with some guidance and direction, go do it and see what happens. And 9 times out of 10, it's awesome. That's all I got on Marcus Rios. I'm an alcoholic. Woo! All right.
Great job, Marcus.
Thank you, sir.